Hey family, and thank you for joining me today for this Inspirational Tuesday. Yep, we are still in the family enrichment series. And today, guess what? We're going to talk about marriage just for a minute. Our scripture text is Ephesians 4, verse 32. It says, be kind to each other, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, just as God through Christ has forgiven you. Now, I'm not an expert by no means on the subject, but I have had my share of mess-ups. And it's okay because I learned a lot from my past mistakes. And hopefully I can say something to encourage you not to make the same mistakes that I made, okay? So now marriage is often thought to be the happily ever after phase of a relationship. But don't be fooled, people of God, into believing that married couples don't face their share of challenges. Yes, they do. And while some of these challenges may easily be resolved, other issues may be too tough to tackle and could even be the means to an end. And since the future of most marriages depend largely on how they deal with issues as they arise, it's helpful to have a heads up on most of the common issues that marriages will face in the marriage territory. So let's talk about 3 common issues real quick married couples face and how they can overcome them before it's too late. Number 1, overstepping your boundaries. And once couples are married, it's not uncommon, people of God, for one spouse to try and change their partner. Whether it's their fashion sense or their fundamental beliefs, trying to change your spouse, people of God, is a personal invasion. And when it happens, the victimized spouse will feel disrespected. They're going to feel hurt or even angry at you. And oftentimes, overstepping somebody's personal boundaries is done intentionally with a mission in mind. Okay? And this type of behavior stomps on the very idea of mutual respect. And the end result will likely be relational withdrawal from the attacked spouse. So in turn, it makes it very hard for that spouse to communicate love and to be open with one another. So it's also possible to unintentionally overstep personal boundaries, especially if it happens while you're genuinely, trying to help your spouse. So to avoid invasion, know where to draw the line that it comes to pushing you for change, okay? Secondly, lacking complete communication. Though the phases talking and communication are often used interchangeably, it's important to understand that the two are very different and they differ greatly from one another. Talking is about giving information with the need of response, and it leaves plenty of room for complaining and criticism. So communication, however, is a verbal and nonverbal exchange of information that requires you to respond because it takes more than one person to communicate. It's focused on a connection between people where it's safe to openly share ideas and information that is free of judgment. Now, when spouses fail to practice proper communication, it's easy for them to fall into a habitual way of ineffectively speaking to one another too. So what's worse is that if poor communication skills are not dealt with, it's possible for more serious problems to arise in that relationship. So couples should learn how to communicate with each other to keep their love life on track and also prevent these unnecessary issues from arising in a relationship. Now, thirdly and finally, declining occurrences of sexual intimacy. While there are many reasons why couples lose interest in sexual intimacy or struggle with physical affection, it's important for spouses to find ways to keep their sex life fresh and fulfilling. Sex may seem like a small piece of the marriage puzzle, but it's actually rare to have a healthy relationship without it. So unfortunately, there's a vicious cycle when it comes to sex. It's hard to want to have it when you feel emotionally detached, but it's hard to feel emotionally attached without physical intimacy. So to get past a dry spell, couples need to identify problem areas in the marriage and work through them to become physically comfortable with each other. Now, I know there are issues, but will arise in your relationship, and it's crucial that you learn them and handle them accordingly. So make sure you do that, okay? My time's gone. Look, thank you for joining me today, and I want you to share this with a couple who you know need to hear this message, amen? And I want you to bless them with this word. So share it with them on the day. And thank you for joining me. And I want you to come back on next time for another Inspirational Tuesday. Now go enjoy your marriage. Be blessed. I'll see you next time.